Good evening, LULAC. So before you ask, no, I am not the junior staffer of the governor of Puerto Rico. I am actually the governor of Puerto Rico. Muy buenas noches a todos. My appreciation to Roger Rocha, LULAC National President, as well as our past national presidents, and the distinguished members of our national board. You know, for many years before I became governor, LULAC has given me and others like me the opportunity to grow and be part of a meaningful community. Without it, I would not be in a position today to significantly help for the better the quality of life of the people of Puerto Rico. So in that regards, and from the bottom of my heart, gracias, LULAC. And as governor, I am here to pledge my support in all of the important causes that LULAC has moving forward. But I'll get right to it. It's a 5-minute time slot, and I know that politicians tend to talk too much. I want to reiterate the mission of LULAC, and it is to advance the economic condition, educational attainment, political influence, health, and civil rights of our Hispanic population in the United States. This is what we stand for. And in that context, I want to once again have you imagine what it would be like to have a first fully Latino state of the Union. Imagine what it would mean for all of the objectives and the causes we have talked about. Imagine what it can mean for you. Imagine what 2 new senators and 5 congressmen who will have your agenda in mind, time in and time out, who will fight for better health care for all Latinos, for better education, for opportunities to achieve optimal economic growth, for immigration reform that is consistent with the nature, design, and principles of our nation, a nation built upon immigrants. Imagine what we can accomplish together. But you don't need to imagine. It is not far-fetched. And in fact, it is closer than you think. You know, aside from bringing you Despacito, Puerto Rico has contributed to much more to the Union in areas of arts, sports, sciences, engineering, and in the fight to protect the rights and freedoms with brave Puerto Ricans serving in the armed forces. Sure, I am biased. I am the governor of Puerto Rico. I live there. I want to continue living there. I want my 2-year-old daughter and her soon-to-arrive brother to grow up there. I want anyone and everyone who loves the island to move elsewhere only if they want to, not because they need to. I want the U.S. citizens of Puerto Rico to have the same rights as their fellow citizens in any other state. Is this too much to ask? You know, and I'm not the only one that wants this. In the past 5 years, 2 plebiscites have been conclusive. The people of Puerto Rico overwhelmingly rejected the inequality that comes from being a colonial territory, and they want to become a state. The last plebiscite, about a month ago, had 97% of the voters favor statehood. We have also commenced the process to select a delegation that will act as senators and congressmen in the federal government to provoke urgent and immediate attention to this issue. I recognize that Puerto Rico has been in the news for its fiscal crisis and economic growth challenges. But we've taken necessary steps to correct the course and to create a new path forward for our economy and for our society. It is important to see that we see the vast opportunities that we have ahead. But I'm not here only speaking to you as the governor of Puerto Rico. I'm speaking to you as one of only 3 Latino governors in our nation. One who recognizes that the U.S. is the 3rd largest Spanish-speaking country in the world, 55 million Latinos strong and growing. One who recognizes that by 2065, the Latino population is projected to grow to an astounding 108 million and understands the great opportunity that this trend possesses. I am speaking to you as well as the youngest governor in the nation and as a scientist, one who wants our generation to take charge with bolder, smarter actions and break the mold so that we can live the next generation with a brighter, more prosperous future. I am speaking to you as a governor of these United States that does not have the right to vote for his president and does not have voting representation in Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the civil rights issue of our times, and it is not one that should be limited to the context of 3.5 million U.S. citizens that live in the island, but also to the 55 million Latinos and over 320 million U.S. citizens that live across the nation. It is a win for all of us to achieve the first Latino state. This is the last hurdle to fulfill the full concept of American democracy. We can't claim to love democracy and preach it in Cuba and in Venezuela while ignoring the will of 3.5 million U.S. citizens that live in Puerto Rico. As Latinos, we cannot advocate for equality and for civil rights while ignoring the millions of disenfranchised U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico. If we want to consider the United States of America as a champion of democracy, of freedom, of equality, then it must apply these principles throughout in equal fashion. So circling back to LULAC's mission, can you think of any initiative that is more aligned with the principles of this organization, generating political influence with new senators and congressmen, civil rights for those that have been disenfranchised, the wherewithal to have better education, better health care, and access to good-paying jobs for all of our Latino citizens? There is none. This is it. This can be the true catalyzer of change for all of our causes. That is why it is time for Congress to act. It is time for the world to see what we stand for, what we believe in, and that inclusion and diversity are not just words, but real action. It is time for us to act to ensure that we make Puerto Rico our first Latino state of the Union. May God bless you all, and may God bless America. Thank you very much.